Like you said, growing up, abortion wasn't talked about as much, or various things. And for some, it seems that the only form of catechesis they really receive is on Sunday, which for a lot is not a lot. And then depending on what the homily is about and how generic it is, it's like we're surprised often to hear that a lot of people don't know that pornography is a sin. So I'm curious, my question is, as you've been able to do that more, we're trying to work on how to help guide priests to talk about this more in their parishes, the way that you're doing, to talk about it more at the pulpit, or where they can talk about it more, to bring more exposure to the parents, to the young kids, so that they're prepared for it. It sounds like you've done a fantastic job doing that in your parish, and you mentioned that you've kind of developed a culture around it now. Have you noticed a difference since you started doing that in the confessions and how often people are confessing it? Or what have you seen any measurable effects or something that you've noticed since you started doing that more, or a change in your parish?
I don't know if there's been a huge change in the confessional. I've been here for 11 years, so it'd be kind of hard for me to monitor that, in the sense that I've been pretty strong since the beginning. We hear a lot of confessions here. We have confessions offered 2 times a month for 12 hours on the first and third Friday. So we hear a lot. I will say this: we hear a lot of confessions. So I would say, just in the sense that people are going to confession is huge. And we do hear a lot of people that struggle with this sin, with sins of impurity. So it is clearly something that people aren't afraid to talk about, and their consciences have been formed in that way. I mean, as a young Catholic, I don't know if I even knew. I mean, I guess I would have known, but I wouldn't have known because I was never formed that pornography and masturbation were sins that should be brought up in the confessional. So yeah, and I think I think what you were just kind of leading into, but I think a comprehensive plan is important. Whether, I mentioned about sacramental prep when you're in second grade, of like talking to the parents about this, and this is a great opportunity to talk to parents, because it is going to happen in the next 2 years, like whether you want to or not. And I have really horrible stories from parishioners in my parishes of innocent young girls being invited to birthday parties in third grade, and thinking that it was an innocent third grade birthday party sleepover, first sleepover ever, and a girl exposing all of the girls that went to the party to hardcore pornography, and the girls not even knowing what the body parts were that they saw on the screen. And other stories where people have had sleepovers that are on the right side, and they don't allow any of their kids to have technology in their bedroom, bathroom, or basement, and kids leaving the party because they refuse to not have their technology at night, and the parents then picking them up and being okay with picking up their child, and instead of showing up and saying like, you're spending the night, like, give me your phone, you idiot. So like, I think like it's important to we have to educate the parents as young as possible. I teach all of our confirmation classes, and I always have a class specifically where I meet with the boys, and a class where I meet with the girls separately, and we talk about these issues like in a very real way. It's then brought up again at their confirmation retreat. I give a talk on the theology of the body to all of them as well. But like, so I would say, like, to brother priests and to anybody who's listening to this, like, this affects marriages. And that's I think, like, I always look at, like, the end goal is either someone miserably living by themselves looking at porn, or someone hurting their wife or their husband by looking at porn. Like, we can't just look at it as like, hey, here's this one person in isolation by themselves living in misery, because the end goal is that it affects a lot of people. And I have seen marriages destroyed, which then destroys their children. Not destroys, but the marriage is destroyed. But their children are then deeply affected by this. And we have to look at the end game. I think you have to look at the end game and say, okay, how do I go back and try to help this? I've had, because of like talking to the second grade parents, like I've had couples I've had wives come up to me and say, Father, thank you for saying that because my husband has a problem. So I think like this is one of the biggest problems in our world right now. Like you can't have solid marriages. You can't have, and the family is the building block of society in the world. If we believe that the catechism says that the well-being of society and the world is caught up in the well-being of marriage and family, you can't have solid marriages if somebody's looking at porn. You can't.
Right.
You can't
Doesn't
have
work.
you can't have sexual relations between a husband and woman be dignified if the husband's looking at porn. So, or the wife is looking at porn, which is a problem. Like it's a both and. So, at some point we need to, we need to answer, and it is possible to do it. So.
Yeah, and we have the task of teaching just that to as many thousands as we can.
Yeah. Thanks so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. If you have any topics you'd like us to discuss in future episodes, shoot us an email at ask@roadtopurity.com. Don't forget to visit our website, roadtopurity.com, for all our free resources and affordable programs to help men and women who are looking to grow in sexual purity. We rely on donations to keep doing what we do, so if you'd like to support Road to Purity, please consider donating at roadtopurity.com/donate. Thanks again for your support. God bless.